Okay. Gearing up for the show, everybody. Gearing up for the show. Waiting on my roomies and homies to come in and join in the show now. Hey, Winter Black Wind, you are the first. And welcome. Merry meet and bright blessings. How are you doing today? Hope everything is going alright for you. Does everything seem alright with the sound on the show? Let's see. Waiting on anyone else to come on in so we can start the topic. So how have you been doing? And Patricia and Serafina, good morning. It is good to see you. When I didn't get any response on Facebook, I was worried that none of you guys that I'm used to would be making it. But it's good to see all of you are showing up. In Relax Sounds. I'm Relaxed Sounds. Oh, sounds good. I'm relaxed. Sounds good. Well, that's cool. I feel pretty relaxed today, too. Just chilling out, waking up, getting myself together for the day. Let's see. Message retracted. It's funny how they show everything you do on these. Hey Elizabeth, how are you doing? Thank you. Sounds good. It's good to have that sound check to make sure that I'm not screeching in somebody's ears. That would just be awful. I have done it with the echoes before. Let's see. And waiting on anybody else to come on in. Anybody want to kick it off talking about their first year in a day walk within their pathway, within their pagan pathway? A case of misspelled words. So she had diarrhea of the fingers here and had to get rid of it. Oh goodness. But it's good to see everybody. We're missing a lot of our usual people. I hope that they come in. It would be nice to have some more of the regulars that we're used to seeing every day. Hi y'all. Somebody else from Texas. No? Nightwing Witch. How's it going? How are you doing this morning? And it's good to see you back on the show again. Let's see. Today I thought a good topic would be the year in a day pathways. I started in 2013 at age 40. Better late than never. Right? Whenever you come in. How's it going, Alan? How are you doing? It's good to see you back. It really is. And it's good that you're doing great, Nightwing. Let's see. So, who wants to talk about their first year in a day pathways upon our pathways that we walk? Our pagan religion. The year in a day walks of giving up something or sacrificing something from habit and what have you so that you can undertake new aspects of yourself. A lot of us do those within our pathways, and I thought it would be a pretty good topic for today. There are good reasonings behind it, and a lot of people say that when you starve your physical body for something that it generally craves or likes or is used to habitually, then you're more able to take in things through the spirit and learn better. Also, you're showing your higher power exactly how much you feel toward your pathway whenever you do these things. And I've undertaken several different pathways of a year and a day time periods so that I could acquire either a title or just certain knowledges and wisdoms that I felt myself I needed. And generally, when you take unto yourself a year and a day pathway, it would be something that you would give up that you feel very in tune with. Like, I've given up various types of sugars and sweets, through desserts and stuff like that. I've given up, at another time, let's see, sex was the biggest one. It really was. 4 in a year and a day. After I had reached a certain length of study within my high priestessdom, I had to give up something real major for a year and a day. And abstinence from sex is one of the biggest and by far one of the hardest. And this was one of my largest accomplishments whenever I had reached my 3rd degree high priestessdom within the Gardnerian traditions of witchcraft. I feel my year and a day is always being lengthened because I'm constantly learning new things. LOL. What is it that you're calling a year and a day, though? I mean, was it a spoken, ceremonial, given year and a day pathway so that you could obtain something, or what? That's the big question here. And what was it that you had sacrificed or given up for this knowledge and wisdom that you would obtain? And yes, I mean, you're always going to be learning new things. So really, you can't keep adding to yourself more time on your year and a day just because you're learning new things. So I'm a little bit confused. I mean, because you're going to illumine that year and a day forever if you keep doing that. So, I mean, was this appointed to you? Did you appoint it to yourself? Or do you need help in understanding that to a greater extent? I'm not sure. Anybody have any questions at this point? This would be a good place for you to begin asking, to add to the topic. But instead of waiting, because there's such a lapse of time between the time I say anything and the time you guys get it, I'm going to go on and then I'll cut in and I'll continue on in answering your question or addressing your statement here after you've put it up there. But basically, when you undertake in a year and a day pathway, generally it's something that's handed to you or that you hand to yourself if you're in solitary practice, so that you may obtain a certain level or degree within your covenant if you're within a covenant, or so that you could obtain some other necessities, that meet you along your way within knowledge and wisdom. And sacrificing is generally done in this way with us so that we can show our higher power how we feel about our pathway, how much we love them, or how passionate we are in this that we are trying to obtain. Let's see, I gave up thinking I was an outsider, which was a good thing. Even things that don't serve us are hard to give up. Oh, in that case, I've also given up sex almost at a year and a day. Let's see. What I meant was, just when you think you learn all the basics, you learn something that makes you take a step back and branch out to another aspect of whatever that main thing was. You're going to always be caught back by something that is new to you, and you're going to have to study that. But what I'm actually talking about is ceremonially giving yourself or being given a year and a day pathway, a walk, at which at the very beginning of this pathway, you would go into a circle, you would be talking to whoever it is putting you on this pathway, or talking to the gods and goddesses if you were a solitary practitioner, and going through a ritual of taking tea, giving libation, and dedicating yourself to this 1 year and 1 day walk that you're about to take. At which time you will state within that circle what it is you aim to do, what it is you aim to be studying, what it is that you are trying to accomplish, or what will be added to you at the end of this pathway, and where it will leave you at the end whenever you are finished. And by the way, at the end of the year and a day, you would come through another ritual of understanding, and at this point you will go into a circle again with whoever it was that took you there in the first place, or again with your god and goddess if you were solitary, and extend out that with your words verbally saying, I've undertaken this pathway and I've accomplished this much. I want that the Lord and Lady grant me that I should be able to have fulfilled this and reach the next level, or be able to undertake the next pathway of life, etc. And grant yourself permission, or be granted permission to move forward and actually be able to move on to the next level through that. But it's very interesting, and deprivation is always a hard thing. I mean, you can't say, okay, I'm just going to give up cake, or I'm just going to give up cookies, or this, that, and the other, or I'm just going to, if you're a person that truly loves your beer or your wine, and you do it quite regularly, or cigarettes, or sex, or something that is a force of habit, something you do out of habit that isn't a physical object, giving up arguments or your impatience or whatever, which is a very, very good thing to give up, and especially if you're really bad about being impatient or being an arguer, etc. These are really good things that you can give up, and it helps you to train to be a different person when you come out of it altogether, so it makes all the sense in the world, which is what Elizabeth was saying. She gave up with something more of a habit rather than a physical object. And so that's a really good thing that you can do. I liked that idea above anything and everything. Of course, you're not the one that always hands out to yourself these year-and-a-day path lines, whenever you're being put on one. I mean, generally, if you're in a covenant, it would be up to your high priestess, or your high minister, or your high priest to actually appoint you in this direction and decide for you what you will be giving up a lot of the times. Of course, you do have those more liberal covenants that will allow you to decide for yourself, but they will make you state what is the harshest case with you a lot of the times. Like, if you're worst at arguing, or if you're worst at eating sugary snacks that are not good for you, or you are worst at drinking beer or smoking cigarettes, they like to choose the thing that would hit you right below the belt, But, I mean, generally it is something that would serve you extremely well by giving up. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as beneficial. If they're any kind of a good covenant, they're going to choose something, that will not only affect you, but affect you in the best of ways. Hey, Elmira, it's good to see you. And merry meet, bread blessings. And today's topic is year-and-a-day pathway walks, giving things up, different fastings that are this length of time, to where you can undertake a different state of being afterwards. And it's kind of coming through a death phase. It's seeing all areas of a year coming and going and turning into a new year, and those are the phases of life, and the wheel of the year and all of this is being played through the course of a year and a day, and that's why we undertake the year and a day walks. How will this affect us? When we come out, we're a new person because this has shaped us in so many different ways with our understanding. We've become a new person, at least in one sense or another, and perhaps have taken up new habits and new ideas on what is best or what is worst for us, and moved on and up in the world a little bit. I've given up not being so impatient, and it is helping a lot with the grandchildren. Believe they are hard-headed, lol. Yeah, children can be something else, but they're also the people you love most in this world. They are everything to you. And so, yeah, that's a good pathway. Okay, well, this says we're back online. Okay. I hope everybody got my messages, because it wasn't just you. Everybody got dumped at one time. Luckily, YouTube has it to where when we get dumped offline, it generally bounces right back. I hope you make it back in, Elizabeth. Hey, Connor, how are you doing? It's good to see you. And is this the same Connor that I think it is? Let me know on that one. Hey, Crone, how's it going? Merry meets. Patricia says she's not back yet. I hate it when that happens. And YouTube has been the worst about dumping us all out. You know. It's good to see you. It's good to have you on live stream for once. Anyway, talking about the year and a day walks and pathways. Okay, let's see. I guess she can't hear me. Okay, Liz. Hopefully she can get messages at least. Anyway, yeah, we all just got dumped offline and we're just getting right back on, hopefully. And some of them are just now getting back online. Hey Angie, how's it going? It's good to see you. Let's see. And welcome back, Elizabeth. It's good to see you. Had to get out completely and go back to the video. Wow, that really sucks. I hate it that happens, guys. But it isn't me this time. It's been YouTube for a while because I ended up jumping my package up to one of the very best, believe it or not. And, you know, still the problems exist, so I didn't even have to jump my package up as far as where my internet service was, you know, concerned. Anyway, so for my year and a day, my first year and a day, and it was to move from being a mundane or neophyte within my actual first covenant I had actually joined. It was to move from being a neophyte or mundane sort to being a dedicate. And then my second year and a day pathway was moving from being a dedicate to being an initiate. And then from there, and on those pathways, on my first pathway, it was giving up being impatient, and it was to be at one with everyone, to be the good guru and not lose my temper, etc. And anytime I ever would, then I would get set backwards on my pathway, so that year and a day becomes longer. You know, and this was actually extended over to me from the group I was with, the high priest there, rather than self-taken. So it was a really good pathway. I learned a lot from it, and I moved from being a dedicate to being an initiate. And then to move from being it moved me from being a neophyte to being a dedicate. And then to move from being a dedicate to initiate, I had to give up sweets for a year and a day. Alright, so I didn't have to take, and you generally don't have to take a year and a day walk on every pathway that you move through. Otherwise, you would just be held there in the ranks forever and never move up to the highest ranking. Okay, so, I didn't have to take another year and a day until I moved from being a ministress to being a priestess. And then I had to take one, and then from my second degree to my third degree, which was to move me into the high strength ship. And so a lot of year and a day pathways that I had to take, but do realize that this is over a period of about 2 decades. Okay? And so it makes a lot more sense when you know how much time is involved. Otherwise, it just sounds like you're on year and a days forever. You know what I mean? But you're not. And my last year and a day that I had to undertake was to move from being my second degree priestessdom to being my third degree priestessdom. It was to give up sex for a year and a day. And I actually lost a consort because they could not move through my year and a day with me. And they obviously didn't love me enough to do that, which is quite fine. Because if this is what it took to dump somebody that don't really care about you for yourself, then so be it, And as a matter of fact, if your minister, if your high priest or high priestess is smart, that you fall up under when you undertake such a task as this, when they take you over to the side and they have a discussion with you about what could all transpire throughout your move through the pathways and giving up certain things, and the people that have to ride with you on these same very pathways, what you can expect, then they're pretty smart high priest and high priestess. Merry meet Mitch, Angie, it's good to see you guys, and welcome to our chats today. It's good to have you. And as you can tell, we're talking about the year and a day pathways, what you give up, what can be expected whenever you give up certain things for a year and a day. And I was just expressing how you can lose a mate if you give up a year and a day of sex, and because it was appointed to you by your high priest or high priestess on whatever pathway you're on. Hey Steampunk, it's good to see you. Welcome to our chats this morning. It's really good to see all of you guys. I was worried that a lot of you wouldn't be able to make it, but I'm glad that you have. And we are still missing a few important people that I can see. So anyway, my last year and a day that I had to take was giving up sex. And through that, I lost a mate. And if you lose a mate, and this is what my higher ranks explained to me whenever they put me on that pathway, that this could actually happen, and that makes them pretty smart for lacing me up on everything that could be expected, and they must have seen it before within their covenant or group. But in all reality, and this is what they said, but if you do lose a mate along this pathway, they could not wait for you. And so therefore, they probably weren't that positive for you anyway. And I understand that now. And so sometimes when we give up certain things on our 1 year and 1 day walks, we lose other things along that same pathway without expecting that it's going to happen in some cases and being laced up on what could be expected in other cases. In my opinion, during your year and a day, you need to just be learning. It depends on who you're falling under, what kind of covenant you're in, what it is that's expressed. But you're learning all the time anyway. So that almost just kind of defeats the purpose, because we are supposed to be learning all the time anyway. Now you can have certain time variables given to you along your pathway, that it would express that you're learning just this or just these ideas at this point in time, etc. There are those year and a day periods that are given likewise. But, we're always learning something. So, when we're talking about that, we we would be very, very specific. Like, okay, you're to be on a year and a day of just learning the religious aspect of it, not so much the political. And in groups and covenants, there are both sides. We have to really, come to that realization. When we're dealing with being at one with so many other various people within one group, then there's a lot of different ideas on how things are undertaken. Right, but I have to talk for everybody. And so I understand this idea of being solitary. I'm solitary too now. But I'm talking to everybody here, and there are various other pathways. And I'm saying that there's this on one hand, and then there's this on the other hand. You know what I'm saying? And we can't always lay out, actually we can't ever lay out the whole structure of what this group is going to do when we're just coming in and they've been existing for all this much time. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, sometimes it does, cost to get certain ideas, and that's what this is about within their belief system. And sometimes it doesn't hurt to give up something that's not actually good for you, but is, kind of, habitual for you along your way. And so that you can study more or concentrate more. Because let me tell you, as a former smoker, I can tell you that because I was wanting to sit down always and smoke that cigarette, whenever I quit, I realized that I did actually free up so much time on my hands, because I wasn't always having to smoke a cigarette before or enjoy a cigarette afterward before I moved on to another thing or whatever, But yeah, there's different things that go on with different people, and different groups run different ways, And Omira says, I believe giving up certain things for a year and a day is part of the sacrifice you are willing to make. And that's true. It's expressing to your higher power, I want this and I want it this much. I'm willing to give this up to show you how much I really feel I deserve this. And, it's also for yourself. It's to instill it in your head that you mean business. And so you're letting a lot of people, if you're in a group or covenant, you're showing all of them. If you're also showing to your higher power, whether you're in a group or not. You're proving it to yourself. You're making a statement and you're putting it in stone, and you're saying, this is my seal, this is my oath. I'm going to take this understanding into myself, and I realize that it will take so much time for me to do it. And my oath is that I am going to do this, and I am going to make it through, because this is this important to me. As a solitary, you can take a year and a day on of practice if you feel it's for the best on your pathway. And you don't have to if you don't want to, if it's not within your belief system. And that's the difference, Seraphina, is if it resonates with you, you would do it. Like anything else that I teach people on this channel. If it resonates with you, then do it. If it doesn't, then do something different. And I'm always teaching people, make your religious pathway your own. But the things that you do to signify a strength, to put it steadfast, it also strengthens the ankles so you can stand against the wind, so to speak. And other groups and pathways will lay out. If you do intend to ever get mixed up with other people or start a group or a covenant, you're going, or just a group of friends, and there has to be some order to it, otherwise it's only chaos. Then there has to be certain things laid out, and you would find that these are parts of that there is not only a spiritual side, but also a political side likewise. I have to leave. Sister duty calls me away. I hope to see you again soon, Seraphina. You be good, and bright blessings to you today. You take care. Let's see. Anyway, so yeah, there's different things that you have to do whenever it resonates with you, or if you undertake that particular pathway. But different people are different, and there are different ways that you would take onto yourself, and different things that other people do that you won't, by the way. Love you too. You be good, girl. Let's see. So, okay, has anybody else here been appointed a year and a day walk by any other person within their pathway? Or is everybody here solitary practitioners? And I know you can't answer for everybody else in the group, you can answer for yourself. But how many group practitioners have we in the room here? People that are associated with other people within paganism. None. No one whatsoever. Solitary. So no group practitioners here. I do find that it is a lot more complicated practicing in groups than it is practicing solitarily. As a matter of fact, after, and you can imagine, I was serving within a group, working my way all the way to the top rank twice. Okay, whenever I was working in groups. And in the last one, as a third degree Wiccan High Priestess, I took a group unto myself and I ran it as an eclectic group, not as a Wiccan, but as an eclectic group, but as their High Priestess. And so, you can understand that, and it was 13 years in that last group, also. So, you can imagine all the time that I put in serving in groups, having people always, tagged onto my ass, so to speak, and I don't mean that to be derogatorily. I loved my students, and I loved being a student. I loved all the friends that I made and all of that. But, just always being smothered, just always being covered with students and not having any free time because I put all my time into serving. And so you can imagine that it was time for me to say, okay, I'm ready to be solitary. I'm ready to be by myself and do my own thing. And, quit doing the year and a day walks, because I got tired of those. And I had earned my stripes. I believed that I was right for letting go and taking on a new kind of pathway altogether, and I did. I think that meeting with covenants is a good thing. I think that everyone should be within a covenant at least once within their life to see what it's about, because it is entirely different. It is another animal altogether. So I really do believe that everybody should try a covenant at least once, especially if you're a people person, However, don't let the actions or ideas of one covenant spoil you for all the others, because they're all different from each other. You're not going to find, very easily two covenants that are exactly alike. And you are going to find some. Hey, we have a newbie on the channel. Hey, Jazz Punk, how are you doing? Or new to speaking, anyway. Anyway, welcome to the channel, Jazz. But you're going to find that they're all different. And I think that everybody should, serve or be within a covenant at least once to see what they're about. I really did thoroughly enjoy it. After 32 years of it, then it was enough to where I said, okay, I'm tired. I want to do my own thing now. But I can't say that I didn't enjoy it, while I was in there, because there were a lot of really fun times. There were getting together around the bonfires. There were celebrations around the maypole, and there were sing-alongs, drummings, and everything else. And then there's such thing as just meeting with other pagans and other get-togethers that are for eclectic people from everywhere, and celebrating with them, and then going home to your own corner. Let's see, I've been in a group, not pagan, but preferred solitary due to all the group energy in general. And you can get into groups where you have a lot of drama. I didn't allow it in mine. I mean, we knew how to nip it in the bud real quick before letting it, seep into everybody else there. Welcome back, Nightwing. Let's see. But yeah, there's such thing as finding groups that are not altogether positive. But you should really try it at least once. And, that way you could really decide what is better for you. And I never found it to be so negative that I didn't want to be within them again. As a matter of fact, the last thing I did was create and ran my own covenant called Covenant Shadow Insights. And it was named after my store and everything I did within Mystic Shadow Insights, my actual business. But that is what brought us all together, so we thoroughly enjoyed that. Anyway, so really I like being in both, and it really has to do with how you feel, and sometimes you may prefer to be with other people in your practice and sometimes not. You darn YouTube gremlins. Is everybody having trouble? Oh man, this is offline and online again. Damn. Is everybody back? We're losing people because of it. Let's see, it shows that we're all back on. But we're getting dumped little by little, it seems. Anyway, so yes, I think that everybody should try all sides of the coin. As far as solitary practice, just a group of friends practicing together, and covenant practice. Not yet, steampunk. Give it a little time. You shouldn't have said that. But those little YouTube gremlins are at it again. They're dumping us on our ass and we're coming back in. Here it is again. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to close the room and I need your help. This is showing that we're live now, but it keeps on barreling out, and so it's off on. See? I'm gonna have to say bye to everybody, I guess.
Showing online right now. Hold on.
Yeah, but it does. It's, look. This is getting awful. Sorry guys, we're having so much trouble, and I've got Austin here trying to deal with the technical difficulties of it so that we can hopefully go onward. Well, it could be a bit of a pain in the ass. I can't even stay on topic. It's, you know, and I'm repeating myself because I'm having to get back on topic. And so I don't know where I last was whenever I was talking.
Right. I just did that last one. That's why it's showing as offline.
It doesn't matter. It's no different from what it's doing. And it's showing that we're streaming.
Yeah, I just redid it, so...
But it's off. You're going to have to get out of OBS altogether and hope that we can get our people back.
I just restarted it. We gotta wait. Okay. It should be starting right now.
Alright, is everybody still there?
Alright.
Let's visit the topic.
Okay. I restarted it.
Okay, it shows that we still have...
Yeah, if you can...
Okay, this is just...
Yeah, if you can still see this, if you can still see this preview right here, then despite what this says, then it should still be, for the most part, available.
Alright, is everybody there? I need... Okay. Alright, are we all here? I'm not trying to leave right now. I mean, is anybody hearing me right at this moment? If so, say, I hear you. Because this shows that I'm offline, but it may very well be that it's just saying it, but I'm not offline. So say, I hear you if you do. Okay, so this light here is incorrect.
Yeah, it's saying...
And we're all here. Okay, so anyway, can anyone tell me about your year and a day experience if you have one? I've got to open on my TV to says offline. So Elizabeth is having trouble also. So YouTube is being very, very selective as to who they're dumping on their ass. Anyway, so year and a day, that's generally a fasting thing for the most part. It can be about fasting so that you can undertake new knowledge and wisdom to yourself. And we've lost a lot of people on the live stream because of all of this, and I am so sorry, people. I don't even think the video would be worth keeping now that is going to be archived from this. And that really sucks. So, you know, basically I've been doing all my Sabbats, candle spells, and reading. Hey Cindy Lou Who, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Honey, will you refresh my coffee, please? Will you heat it?
Sure, just a sec.
Oh, goodness. Anyway, it's good to see you, Cindy. We've been extremely disrupted by YouTube dumping us on our ass all morning here and trying to get through this show. And we went from having 17 people to having 7 people. And so that really sucks. Where are y'all? Are you having trouble seeing us too now? I'm new as a Wiccan since 2 weeks or so. I have no experience on this a year and a day thing. A year and a day walk is whenever you choose to give up something that is extremely important to you or something that is extremely bad for you that is habitual. And you are either put on this pathway by a person higher ranking within your covenant or group, or as a solitary, you can choose to put yourself on this particular pathway to obtain certain knowledges and wisdoms that you need to. Hi Sing, how are you doing? Welcome to our little group here. It's good to see you. But yes, it's something that you would generally put yourself on or that you would be put on so that you can obtain things that are more beneficial to you. Also, it makes a statement that your intent is extremely there and set in stone that you intend to do whatever it is that you are to accomplish within that year and a day, of which you are also giving something up. So it is a devotional showing, and it is a strengthening of yourself to prepare for it and to make ready for what it is that you're undertaking. You have a ritual generally before that puts you on it, and you have a ritual generally afterward that takes you off of the pathway, and from there you are arising under a new way. You are rebirthed or renewed after that. And generally, if you look at it a year and a day, you're going with the cycles of the year. You are going through the birthing, the living, the dying, and the rebirthing of a new year all together through the entire wheel of the year. Throughout this term that you are giving things up and you are on a path of new knowledge or wisdom. And you may select that under this year and a day, particularly, you are going to study only the spiritual aspect. And on this year and a day, you may only study the political aspect if you're in a covenant or a group. And there are different things that you may appoint to yourself to solely study, like only the God system, or only these types of magic, or whatever, brackets of different things. And so there's a lot more to it than one may think, But your year and a day pathways, they're not only synonymous with group members, people within covenants or groups, but also solitary practitioners as well. And generally it's an oath, as I was saying earlier, and I don't know how much all of that got through because we were having so many different troubles there, but it's making an oath. What is it, Omira? Let's see, what is your question, girl? Let's see. And it is really good to have you here, Sing. I haven't seen you in the chats before. And Jazz is new here also, I believe. And welcome all new. But yes, ask away, Omira. And there's a 20-second delay here, so I'm sitting here like a puppy dog waiting on the questions whenever someone indicates that they have one, to the time that it would be passed over to me again. Can you put yourself through this 1 year thing as a solitary yourself? Yes, of course. You just simply have to decide what it is that's in your best interest, okay, to take unto yourself. What it is that you're needing to study or learn more on, or what are you fixing to undertake at which, it requires a year and a day walk, or that you should go on a 1 year and a 1 day walk on. And it can be, a year and a day walking before answering a person that's proposed to you. It could be a year, that way you can understand them more. Put yourself on a year and a day walk before you hand pass to them, because you need to know them a little more and you want to make them wait, and you feel that they should go on a year and a day pathway. So you put them, the man that proposed to you, on a year and a day walk. And if he cares about you enough, then he'll undertake this walk and pathway. And at this point, the two of you could choose to give up sex together for that year and a day. Or, if you feel that it's beneficial to you, of course. Or that you could give up something else as you undertake this year and a day pathway. And that's only one example. And that's like for something big that's going on in your personal life, but intersects with your spiritual life. Okay, and then there is giving up, say, all the sweets that you would generally eat because you know it's not good for you, and wanting to set it in stone that this is really what you want, so that you can undertake knowledge and wisdom, say, in what the higher power is. All the gods and goddesses, studying only about gods and goddesses for this particular time, or whatnot. I mean, so these are some examples of what you could be doing it for. this probably was covered already, but with all the bouncing in and out of the room, it's hard for me to, you know. But yes, when somebody has a question, then I try to cover it again to make sure they fully understand. But is there a certain time of the year that is more or less better term fitting to begin this walk? No, there isn't. Like, if someone proposes to you tomorrow, well, and you didn't expect it, I mean, you didn't know that it was going to happen. So obviously, some thought would be there, and somebody just shouldn't blurt out, yeah, I'm going to do that. It's good to have you back, Crone. You might want to tell them, give me a couple of days to think about it. And if in this couple of days of thinking about it, you decide that you don't know each other well enough, or they've shown a side that you're very unsure of, you might put them on a year and a day walk of understanding into themselves as to a certain thing that you might not like about them, and that they need time to reflect. And at the end of the year and a day, if they still feel the same way, and if they better themselves, then you'll marry them or whatever, or you'll accept their proposal. And at that point, at a year and a day later, then you can actually designate how long you would make the engagement to be. And there's yet another waiting time. So, I mean, there's a lot in with this, and it can reach over into many different areas. But there's no set time, because some things you just don't know when it's going to hit you. Or a person enters into a group, the covenant leader may put you on a pathway as soon as you get in there, and generally they will. Let's see. So, if you're setting it for yourself, if it has to do with the seasonal thing, yes, then you might set a time that resonates with a particular season, would end at a particular season or whatnot. Or if there's certain things laid out, for you to do after your ritual, your year and a day is over with, if there's certain thing that resonates with you being outside in the weather or doing something, to do with being out in nature, you might want it to end at a time when you would be in the spring, at a time whenever it's less rainy, or in the summer when the rains are over with, better yet, but not in the wintertime. So, I mean, yes, there are certain things that could be laid out as being important when you consider the time. But then there, for the most part, there isn't. And this YouTube is doing this blinking in and out thing as far as the light goes. But y'all told me that I wasn't offline whenever it said that I was, so we'll continue. But let's see, things that people give up most, or are inclined to give up whenever they undertake a year and a day. Well, some people may be addicted to eating too much in general, and so they may give up habits of gluttony. Some may give up that they really are just drawn to eating snacks and sweets all the time and just give that up. Some may give up just snacks, in general, and that would include your sweets, and some would give up desserts and not all snacks. Some may give up sex, depending on how important it is, what it is that they are going to come through at the end of that year and a day. How important it is, what it is, how spectacular all of it is that you're trying to acquire. Some may give up alcohol, especially if they're an alcoholic. Some may give up, and it depends. It really is. Some may give up their impatient habits, or their ability to argue with everybody and undertake a pathway of being the good guru, only. Give up men altogether. LOL. If you're going to give up sex, you just about may as well give up men for that if you're a single person. Giving up drinking on their pathway. This seemed to be going on with this stream, yeah. But we do the best we can, right? But yeah, I mean, it depends on how important it is to you. If you're going to get married at the end of the year and a day, let's say you want to get married, and say you're high priest or high priestess that is going to handfast, you say, okay, I will marry you, but you have to go through 1 year and 1 day of understanding that this is going to transpire, a 1 year and 1 day engagement. Okay? And at the end of this, then you may handfast, and we'll do it at the park, blah, blah, blah place, or out at your house in the woods, blah, blah, blah. You know, where it includes that it's going to be outside, then you may want to undertake this pathway in the spring so that it would end in the spring and you would be able to get married in the spring if that's what you so wished. You know, and so, I mean, there's where you would lay out time variables. But I don't think officially there is any more periods of time that is important, you know. So, really, also, you know, you have to pay attention to certain other fastings that would take place during that, and that is staying away from, you know, certain foods while you're going into the ritual only. But the only fastings you would undertake during the actual year and a day is what it is that you choose to give up, if it is something you would take into your body, you know. But giving up impatience, actually, giving up anger streaks, okay, or giving up alcohol or cigarettes, or giving up, you know, your workaholicism. You know, if you tend to be a workaholic and you're neglecting your family due to it, that's something to give up. I mean, these are ways you can give something up and truly grow from it. Or if you're giving up alcohol or food whenever you're needing to lose weight, these are also giving up something that would inevitably be very positive for you in the end. So generally, it's always for positivity that you're giving something up, and not just for the sake of deprivation. At least not within the good covenants that I've ever known of, or been in, or led. So, I mean, positivity, everything should always steer in the positive direction and not toward the negative. And if someone is laying out for you negative things, then by all means, it may be a time to look, you know, not having you give up negative things, but they're negatively making you give up things. I don't know if I said that right or not. Then it might be time to look into a new covenant or group, you know, because there is right and there is wrong in this. And your body is a temple, it should always be treated kindly and under all situations. Let's see. But giving up, the hardest thing to give up was sex, and you can lose mates and people, you know. Other things can make you get cranky and actually lose other people in your life if you're not careful. Like if you're overweight and you're trying to give up food, you know, there are consequences of even giving things up for a year and a day. And that would be, you know, you being cranky or not giving the mate the sex that they so need, or whatever. And that could be pretty rough. Anyway, we're having a lot of trouble with the stream, and I don't know if I've lost everybody or not here because the room isn't moving, nobody's talking. And so I'm going to go ahead and call it a day on this. That really sucks, and we need to get to the bottom of it if it is going to interfere with our future streams, and we can only hope that it isn't. I need to talk with other people and find out if they're having the same issue. Alright, everybody, I'm going to say goodbye here. Merry Pardon, Bright Blessings. I haven't seen any scrolling text in a good while. It was a good topic. It's just sad that you know, it was so off balance here and trying to keep you know, a topic going, you know, with all the breaks here, that it's interfered with my state of mind on it so badly. Let's see, Merry Part, everybody, and bright blessings. I hope that you got something out of it, or have a better understanding at least on what a year and a day is. It was good to see you, Steampunk. We're all calling it a day here today. It was good being at one with you. I'm sorry about all of the interference. And I know that I have a tendency to repeat myself whenever something is diverting my attention so badly or whatever. And the live stream cutting in and out here was certainly doing that. But I do my best. But anyway, I've just renovated my website. It looks awesome. Go to mysticshadowinsights.com and look it over for me. I'm not trying to send you there for business, but I want you to let me know what you think of it, the theme, the layout, and all of that. I'm not trying to rally for business here or anything. I just want you to check it out for me. Tell me whenever you talk to me what you think about it, because I'm really proud of it. I like working on stuff like that, and it makes me feel really good, and I think I've done an excellent job myself, but I want you to check it out. Also, follow me on Facebook under, Mystic Shadow Insights on Facebook. Follow me there, my page, and follow Lady Leeanna on my page on Facebook likewise. It was really good talking to you guys. Bright blessings. Bye-bye.